This is AgentMail, an API platform built specifically for AI agents that gives them a unique email address, an inbox, which allows them to send, receive, read, and act upon emails to do things like customer support, cold outreach, or just to be somewhere to manage all your forgotten newsletters. It works through a Python or TypeScript SDK, it has its own MCP server, and even has its own CLI with skills to support it. But what's the difference between AgentMail and me creating a Gmail account for my agent using an MCP server to manage all of the messages? Hit subscribe and let's find out. Last week, I made a video about the Google Workspace CLI, which lets your agent manage your calendar, documents, and of course your email, which is really cool. But while your agent can manage Gmail with its own account, Gmail wasn't built for agents, it was built for humans, so it won't have the greatest experience. Let me explain. Now, I've already signed up to AgentMail, as you can tell by this AgentMail dashboard, and created an inbox with a unique name. Note, this AgentMail domain over here is because I'm on the free plan, but you can add your own custom domain if you upgrade your plan. I've also created an API key and have added it to the list of my shell environment variables, which means with the AgentMail CLI installed, I can use it with Claude Code. And personally, I prefer to use CLIs with Claude Code instead of MCP servers. Let's also install the AgentMail skill to prevent me from referencing it inside my prompt. And that's it. You're good to use AgentMail with Claude. I know I've mentioned this already, but if you have seen my Google Workspace CLI video, you'll see how much easier it is to set up AgentMail than to set up this CLI to use with Claude Code. Okay, let's continue. And now I can ask Claude, what AgentMail inboxes do I have? Which will load up the skill, then use the CLI to give me a response. Now from here, I can get Claude to do some really cool things, like send an email from my AgentMail email address to my personal email, giving me a list of the top 3 places to get matcha from King's Cross. And yes, I am a huge fan of matcha. Let me know in the comments if you are too. And while it does that, I want to prove to you that I don't have any messages that I've faked. And now that it's done, I have a new email giving me a list of the best places to get matcha from in King's Cross. But because my agent has its own email address, I can do some really cool things, like sign it up to newsletters, and I can also ask it to complete the subscription, which it's gone ahead and done. But if I did want to do it manually, I do have access to the inbox for the agent, and we can see that the verification email for Node Weekly is over here, but the agent has already completed this step. I could even forward some of my existing emails to the agent and ask the agent to summarize those emails, which it's actually done quite well. I could even use Claude Code's new loop feature to check every minute for new emails and summarize them, which is actually a pretty good use of that feature. Now, I'm just scratching the surface of what can be done with AgentMail, because even if we just were to focus on inboxes, you can have multiple inboxes for different agents. So if you have Claude Code, Codex, Gemini CLI, each one can have its own inbox, or you could have an inbox just for subscriptions, one just for customer support. And because you're not charged based on inbox like other platforms, it actually works out to be quite cost effective and allows you to have some really cool workflows, like having an agent send a message to another inbox based on its contents, and also getting agents to create inboxes on demand and delete them when they're done. Now, I've been using AgentMail with Claude Code, which is nice for personal use and for testing, but really, you'd want this to be on its own custom agent because you don't want the limitation of having 3 days, which you'll find more about on my video on loops, and you might want to poll much more frequently. So let me show you an example of building a custom agent using the Claude SDK and using AgentMail. So here is a super simple agent powered by the Claude SDK that is using this email address from AgentMail and checking for new emails every 30 seconds from the time that the script starts running. So I'm not going to go through all the code in detail, but we can see here it processes the messages, and it does this by looking through all the messages inside the inbox, checking the labels that are unread, and based on the time that it's received, it will then trigger another function, which is generate reply. And if we scroll down, the generate reply function over here writes a prompt, and this user content prompt goes to the Claude model, which is currently Haiku, and it's using this system prompt to respond. So if we start the script, we can see it's already noticed 16 messages in the inbox. I've been testing this a lot. And so let's give it a new email and see if it replies. So I've written an email to the agent saying, just testing the system, who are you and what do you do? Now the script is polling every 30 seconds for new emails, and now it's got one, it's processing the message, then using Claude to generate a response. And if we go back, we have a new email and a response from Claude, which is super surreal. But here it replies saying it's an AI assistant helping to manage this inbox. And because this code is designed to read through threads, I can send it a response saying, thanks for your reply, tell me a joke about cats. The script waits for 30 seconds, processes the whole thread with 3 messages, and then sends a response. Why don't cats play poker in the jungle? Because there are too many cheaters. As usual, there are so many other features this tool has to offer that I haven't been able to go through in this video, like WebSockets for streaming events, which also allow for zero latency email checking, pods which isolate data between different customers if you're planning on building a product that offers the AgentMail infrastructure to different users, IMAP and SMTP support, and so much more. Speaking of things I didn't get around to showing all the features of in a video, if you'd like to make a desktop app that is small, fast, and powered by web technology, then you should check out this video I've made about Electrobahn, which might just be the thing you're looking for.